Wednesday, November 28th at 6:30. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everybody, for coming. Any public comments at this time? Public comments? I see none. Is anybody else taping in the audience? The vast audience we have here? I see none. We are being televised by TCTV, Channel 8. So welcome, everybody. Meeting minutes for 10/1/2018.
If it would please the board, I would like to move to approve all of the minutes of 10/1/18, 10/10/18, 10/24/18, 11/7/18, and 11/14/18 as written.
Okay, a motion on a second.
Second.
A motion is second. Any other discussion? I see none. Doug?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. We have no executive session minutes. New business. Any appointments or introductions? Mr. Tanzini?
Not this evening, Mr. Chairman. Do you have any appointments? None, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much. Backbrief from the sewer superintendent. Any word?
None, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Can we do a letter or some sort to the sewer superintendent requesting his appearance, just to backbrief us on that $2+ million we had to sign for the sewer pump station? That's pretty much what I wanted him to talk about, was the pump station that is now online. Thank you so much.
I'll prepare something for the board.
Okay, I mean, I think the Templeton residents have a right to know, where their dollars are going, and even though it's an enterprise fund and the betterment funds are paying it, but they still need a right to know what's going on with that. Okay, moving on. Annual license renewals, liquor, common vic, amusement, class 2 and 3 auto. Obviously, we have a list here.
So, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman.
Yes.
I would like to, I had asked this question prior to the meeting. I would like to know on this list who is not up to date on their taxes before we move to approve any of them.
I understand, and I'm gonna give you a list. Anybody circled in blue have not paid their taxes.
Okay, so I would like to, instead of making a motion to approve subject to, I would like to read into record. So it would be faster to read into record the people who have not paid their taxes. However, I would like to give to the benefit of the doubt and read into record those that are getting liquor licenses, those that are getting common vic licenses, automatic amusement, live. So I don't mind reading them if you don't mind.
I don't have any problem with that.
Thank you. So these motions are going to be a little bit different than what is written here. So I move to approve liquor licenses for the following: American Legion, Baldwinville Pizza, Baldwinville Station, Candlelight Inc., J.K. Crossroads, Camelot, Otter River Hotel, a.k.a. The Onion, Otter River Sportsman's, Patriots Package, Reno's Pizzeria, Royalston Fishing Game, Templeton Fishing Game, Templeton Spirit, Templewood Golf, Thirsty Turtle, and Village Liquor and Mini Mart.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion concerning the liquor licenses for the town of Templeton? I see none. Doug?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
I make a motion to approve Class 2 auto licenses for the following: Below Book Auto Sales, Car Works, Chesterfield Motors, Classic Auto, Fletcher Equipment Company, Hastings Motor and Work Inc., I'm sorry, I said that wrong, Insurance Auto Auctions, Lang's Vintage Automobiles, Randy's Automotive Sales, and Wilson Bus Sales.
Okay, I have a motion for Class 2 auto licenses. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Any other discussion? I see none. Doug?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
There will be no Class 3 auto licenses on the agenda for this evening.
Okay,
I make a motion to approve common victualler licenses for the following: American Legion, Baldwinville Pizza, Baldwinville Station, Candlelight Inc., Dunkin' Donuts in Baldwinville, Dunkin' Donuts in East Templeton, Great Wall Chinese Takeout, JK Crossroads, Camelot, Kitchen Garden, Otter River Hotel, AKA The Onion, Otter River Sportsman's, Patriots Roast Beef and Grill, Reno's Pizzeria Inc., Royalston Fish and Game, Templeton Fish and Game, Templewood Golf, Thirsty Turtle, and Village Pizza.
okay, I have a motion. I have a second.
Second.
I have a motion, second. Any other discussion? I see none. Doug?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
I make a motion to approve automatic amusement licenses for the following: American Legion, Candlelight Inc., Otter River Hotel, AKA The Onion, Otter River Sportsman's, Royalston Fish and Game, Templeton Fish and Game, and the Thirsty Turtle.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? I see none. Doug?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
And I make a motion to approve live entertainment licenses for the following: American Legion, Candlelight Inc., JK Crossroads, Camelot, Outer River Hotel, AKA The Onion, Otter River Sportsman's, Royalston Fish and Game, Templeton Fish and Game, and the Thirsty Turtle.
I have a motion. I have a second.
Second.
I have a motion, second. Any other discussion? I see none. Doug?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
If you could give that to Holly.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add, Diane, on these? For the record?
No, I do not at this time. So anyone who did not pay, or is not up to date on their taxes, did not get a motion made. So I would suggest that their taxes be paid, and at the next meeting, we can make a motion to approve their licenses.
Okay, Doug, do you have anything to follow up with that?
Nope, I'm good with it.
Okay. And these licenses, they start on 1 January, correct?
Yes.
1 January?
Yes.
Okay. So these businesses really won't be affected by our decision tonight until potentially 1 January if they don't comply with their payment of taxes, correct?
They will all be informed within the next few days, Mr. Chairman, that they will have to have everything brought current by December 19, as that will be your only business meeting during the month of December.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, because, okay, I got you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carter.
Revenue projections, Carter?
So, Mr. Chairman, this is as presented at your workshop with two exceptions or explanations. Miscellaneous state revenues, you'd asked what that was. We've relabeled that for miscellaneous state rev, civil infractions, I believe. That's court fines, the tickets that the police department give
Gotcha.
out, dog fines, those kinds of things. The second was miscellaneous general revenues. That is for revenues that we receive that don't have specific accounts allocated to them, such as closed out tailings, some FEMA reimbursements, insurance. We got 2 insurance checks this week for less than $1,000. We've recovered monies from the state treasurer's unclaimed property. Parks Department, I think, got $27.03 or something. It's all those small kinds of things for which we don't create a specific account for every single one of them.
Okay.
and I believe that that was the only change.
It's kind of the
Essential
catch-all.
workshop.
Right, so that's what the miscellaneous revenue is now, the 48.
Yeah, there's the
48,
state,
40.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yep.
see the state one up there. It's in, yep.
So the state, we changed the name so that it was physically present for you. The other one, it's
Yeah.
really just, it's a catch-all account where there
Gotcha.
isn't enough activity generated to create a account category for it.
Okay.
I will give you one quick heads up. When this comes back to you with the budget, the MART will change. DOR has talked to us in approving the recap sheet, and they understand why we do it the way we have to do it, but they would like to try to see us tighten that number up a little bit.
I mean,
So, and we were already planning to work on that. We're having the director give us 5 years of history of how many riders we had, how many hours the drivers, so we can try to get a pattern and tighten that number up.
so that number might go down.
Absolutely will go down. I have no question whatsoever,
Okay.
but that it'll go down.
Any other numbers changed since the workshop?
No, and none of the numbers have actually changed. It was really just changing the name of the one account so
Yeah.
you could see it, and getting a little bit behind what was in the other account. And Kelly gave us kind of a breakdown. We had, $3,800 in an insurance claim last year. We closed about $3,700 in tailings. That's the kind of stuff that goes in there.
Does anybody have any questions on this?
No, I had already asked mine.
Okay. And obviously, you're projecting with the ambulance receipts receivable at a lower rate to build that account up, I would assume?
Well, to hopefully build it up, the ambulance revenues are still not coming in where we would like to see them. But, I mean, our hope is that they'll recover and that, yes, over time, Mr. Chairman, we'll be able to build that up. And I
Good.
think, one, it's cash flow. Two, it's making sure there's enough in the till when we make the transfer at town meeting, so we don't have to do the fall backfill, because that's always a subject of some debate. And finally, so that we have some cash to put down towards these new ambulances, because you are not gonna replace these ambulances for the amount you've been spending on the lease over the past 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
They've gone up $75,000 alone, and the interest rate will have gone up a couple of points as well.
Right, and that's unstocked, I would assume.
I'm sorry, what?
That's unstocked as well, so there's a stocking cost as well to that, I would assume?
Yeah,
Okay. And we're working well with Coastal?
I think it's going as well as can be expected. We just don't have the volume that.
Understood. Okay. Excellent. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. Moving on to the action on catch basin cleaner.
Mr. Chairman, just so that, for the record,
Mhm.
if the board would be so kind as to take a motion to approve these, we're trying to
Oh.
build this process whereby
I see.
we have goals, we have revenue projections, we're a meeting behind, but next week, the next meeting will bring in the community comparisons, so that when this stuff is out there, the department heads, the advisory committee know that it's not just us that have done it, but this is your review, you've acted upon it, and yeah, this is kind of some sense of comfort of where we're headed. So,
I make a motion to approve the draft revenue estimate.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have motion and a second. Any other discussion? I see none. Doug?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Okay. Moving on now to E, action regarding catch basin cleaner.
I'm just gonna ask Bob to introduce himself for the
Please.
record and, more importantly, for the camera.
Absolutely. It's very important.
Good evening, folks. I'm Mr. Chairman, Bob Sozak, Director of the DPW.
Please, have a seat. I'm sure you got fans out there, so give them a wave.
I doubt it. So,
Yes, catch basin cleaner.
you guys all received a copy of the memo?
Yes, and I
Yes.
thought it was very well written.
Did you write that?
Um, Yeah,
Very well.
took me a while for the first one, but we got it.
Couple
Practice.
drafts, I got it, I got it.
I wouldn't be going for this if this truck wasn't in such good shape for the year it is and the maintenance and taking care of it. And the individual that own it's proud of it, and it's, if it was somebody else's and the condition it was, I wouldn't even be here today, but
Mhm.
I think this is a real great opportunity for the town of Templeton to get us caught up into us on a regular cleaning standards, and then further down the road, once we switch over to salt and get rid of the sand, the cleanup's gonna be a lot easier. I think we'll be at a good phase at
Okay.
that time.
You mean that fire truck thing's not doing it anymore?
No, you want that toward your house?
No.
You guys did say code.
No, we did say code.
Did you turn your 268A certificate in?
That's why I wanted towed to, no.
But if you read the memo, I mean, it breaks it down pretty simple, and like I said, it's, all these catch basin cleaning companies, they're just so overwhelmed because there's not enough of them out there. And I'd probably give you a day this week, and I know they started late, just before I got here, and he did come out one more time, but they're just so tied up.
Right.
And this is gonna give us the opportunity to inspect our basins, and I can generate a report, cross culverts, piping, and I'm sure it's gonna be a big maintenance list down the road, but, and give us which ideas of what basins and DIs we have to rebuild, and have a good visual of that. There'll be a check sheet for whoever's operating this truck.
Mhm.
You know, does it need rebuilt, or is a pipe damage? If it's real bad, take some pictures, or I'll go out and look at it myself, but
Okay.
I think it's a good step in stone for us to pay
So,
attention to our culverts and drainage, and
Has this been is this on the list for, on your board? Doug?
No, you haven't been to the capital planning yet, so.
no,
Right,
no, this
and it
is,
doesn't look like they're gonna use capital funds for it.
And it's under
But it is.
10,000.
it's under
Yeah.
10,000.
These are
it
the
doesn't
things
need
I
to come
wanted to hear out
before you.
loud.
Yeah,
I mean, the life expectancy is, 8 to 10 years, I mean, and it's just regular general maintenance. It shouldn't be that expensive at all. The truck has a lot of life left in it.
Okay. We, I mean, is that something we would probably should take to capital planning for at least a long-term review?
Well,
I mean, he's saying 8 to 10 years, so,
10,000.
frankly, we remain hopeful that after conversion of our snow and ice control methods, and having all of the basins cleaned, repaired, we know where they all are, we can again revisit the issue of contracting them out. Because a truck like this is about $200,000.
Mhm.
If we can get back to where we're bidding early and we're back into the, mid-teens per basin as opposed to mid-20s per basin, we're gonna wanna revisit the contracting.
okay. How many did they do this year?
They they probably did about 60. He was, another town resident paid for a day for cells to come out, another company, and he gave us a day, and he only did like 22. It's because of they're so full, it's time consuming.
Right. It's only a little bucket.
Yeah, and that, and then truck only holds probably 4 or 5 yards maybe,
Okay.
and, where they've been neglected so long, it takes extra work to get them clean.
Okay.
So is a catch basin truck a one-man operation?
Yes.
It is, okay.
And what's nice about this one, I don't know if Carter showed you the pictures, those are on.
Yes.
The driver is able to get off on the right-hand side, on the gutter side, so it'll be a safer
Right.
operation for the individual.
Okay. And what is the limit to go to the capital planning committee, Doug?
Oh, anything over 10, right?
Right,
I didn't hear you,
yeah,
John.
anything over 10.
Anything over 10,000.
So
But
this
the truck
doesn't,
will get added to the capital plan as an asset,
is an
um,
asset.
you know, regardless of whether or not we use capital funds to
Okay,
purchase it, it'll still get included
Okay.
in the.
Yeah, because it's
in
gotta
the
have,
plan.
it's gotta have a worth to it,
Right.
okay,
even if it's a little worth.
Right.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to make sure that we're going about this in the proper manner. So if we were to make a motion, like we just have to do we have to make a motion to make sure that it gets added, or
No, we will add it. 'cause
you'll add it?
When Bob comes to capital planning, you know, he'll take his list
Okay.
and, you know, these comes off, this comes
Okay,
on.
Okay,
Yeah,
Because, you know, we haven't really settled, you know, at what point we can go ahead and buy things without your authorization.
mm-hmm,
But given that this wasn't in the budget, and this is a change in the direction we were trying to go in,
right.
we
'cause
felt it
have no
important to
choice.
come before you and would request a motion,
Mhm.
so that at least the record would reflect that we'd made you aware of this change in direction, and, you know, we're gonna buy this vehicle.
So this truck does not need any repairs at the moment?
Not at this
No.
moment, no.
Nothing, okay. Okay. Do you have any questions, Doug?
no, it sounds like a good investment.
Like I
Especially
say,
if it
if
gives us
it
the
wasn't
chance
the
to
condition of the
to
truck,
get us to where we need to be.
I wouldn't be here today. I mean, it's a great opportunity, and I wouldn't really want to see it pass through us. We were fortunate enough to bump into this situation, and I think it'll be a great asset.
Okay. So I make a motion to approve the purchase of a 1997 International Catch Basin truck at a total price of $9,700.
I will second that.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any other discussion? I see, you have something?
No, I have a question, but it's not really based on the motion,
Okay, so I have no other discussion. Doug?
No.
No?
Oh, yes, yes. I didn't Yes.
Okay, thank
I'm
you, sir.
voting yes.
You're voting yes, okay. Diane?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Thanks, Doug. Now, you have a question for Bob?
I do. What does it mean, dual steer cab?
There's a steering wheel on the left side and the right side.
Okay.
It's like a rubbish truck. They can drive it from a regular left-hand side, or when they're picking up, they can drive on the right-hand side.
Nice.
And that's what allows the driver to get out on the
Uh-huh.
curb and walk towards the back of the truck.
Correct.
Nice.
And not, yeah.
Not have to
that's-
step
I
into
thought that was really
The
kind of
line of
cool.
traffic.
Yeah, not get hurt.
And that's not a special license, is it?
Yes, which a lot of our guys have, and we do require it.
And you have a crane license, operator?
It's an endorsement on your hydraulics of 4G. I mean, I'm sorry, 4E,
4E?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
along with your CDL.
Class A. Gotcha.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Bob.
you.
Oh, you're
Again,
welcome.
Well written.
Yeah, good job. Keep it up.
Every day's an improvement.
Oh, can I? I'm
Bob,
sorry.
Oh, sure, Diane, I'm here for you.
Mr. Chairman, I think
Well put, Bob. Yes, Mr. Tindy, what do you have?
No, I have something.
Ms.
I
Haley
wanted
Brooks
to
had a
know
question.
if you could explain to me and to the community, I know I asked this before about our sanding operation, but could you explain to me about our plowing and our sanding operation?
Sure.
The other day, I live on the back streets closer to the Hubbardston line, and I noticed that they sanded, but I only saw a loader plowing, and it wasn't until like 10:30 in the morning, and the kids were standing out there in about 3 inches of slush. So I wondered if you could kind of update us all on how, is this a new way of doing things? Because Alan did things like a little bit differently.
Well, yes, we're getting an earlier start on sanding before the snow comes down to get it on the bottom for traction and making safe roads. So for the amount of sanders we got right at the moment, it takes about 3 to 4 hours to cover the whole town.
Okay,
After the roads are treated, myself and Mark calls the trucks back and we put the plows on all the equipment, so that probably takes about an hour. Then usually about 1.5 inches to 2 inches we're out plowing.
okay,
And where we only have so many plows and so many road miles, it does take a lot of time, and that's what I was explaining to Carter is, so they had this study done where you had 7 routes, which is fine, but for one plow truck and a sander, the average route for one truck is 8 to 10 miles to keep up with that particular roadway and route. Where we have some routes that are 30 miles, 27 miles, 23 miles. So
Now,
that's,
just, those are lane miles.
right.
Yeah.
So that's when me and Carter talked, we're trying to get subcontractors. So I
we're
was,
having a hard time with that, right?
well, because I think we tried to pursue it too late in the season. Usually people make a commitment like September, October,
Okay,
which next year, hopefully, we'll have a better jump on it. And
okay,
a couple people, I handed out some applications, and I know somebody talked to Carter, but I don't think we had any solid response back yet. So unfortunately, with what equipment we got, I mean, it does take time to cover the whole town, whether you're sanding or plowing.
do we have any downed equipment right now?
Yeah, we have one truck that lost the clutch the first big storm, which is being repaired now. And hopefully, by the end of the first week in December, we should have it back.
Okay,
And I also looked in, there's a couple more trucks we have that has wings, but things have been broken for so long. I don't know why, but I am getting, one truck needs a valve body and a cable. And I think another one might need some welding repair, so I'm looking into doing that, so I can add them on those other 2 trucks, so
okay,
we'll have 3 trucks out there with wings and plows,
okay,
which will help some, but
okay.
we're doing the best we can with what we got. I know it can't
I
be
understand
fast
that.
enough, but we're trying to get the snow off the road as soon as we can, because black roads are safe roads, and if you,
It says ice on it.
yeah,
No, the black ice.
yeah. But I encourage any of you, if you want more understanding, I can either try to bring somebody in from Bay State Roads, and it's an 8-hour class. It's real educational on what we do and how we do it,
8 hours?
yeah.
Oh, for us?
You know, you
Oh, I wanna
guys are
take
more
that.
than welcome to come, any of you.
Don't want to?
8-hour class? That's, sure, I can take an 8-hour class, why not?
But if
We can talk about this
any of you
afternoon.
have any interest, we can sign you up, and it'd be real informal, or to you, or we can pass it on to the public, or we can even have before the winter, have a public meeting explaining our situation and our operations and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I see a lot of commentary, or I get a lot of commentary, or, I mean, obviously, we have to answer some of it. People don't always go right to you, or, you know, I come to Carter, or, I mean, you're out doing your job,
Yeah.
which is what you should be doing,
Yeah,
obviously.
usually, as soon as it starts snowing, if it's gonna be any dusting or coating, the sand crew's getting called in
Sand crews come
probably an hour and a half from what they're used to being called in.
Okay,
So that's an improvement. Once we change material that we're putting down, that'll be a big improvement. And get some subcontractors and hopefully some more equipment.
Nice. Okay,
Great.
thank you so much for
So
answering
you
that.
have any questions, feel free to call or email.
Okay,
I'll explain anything you want.
How was the class that you went through?
It was
The
good.
Complete Streets class?
I didn't take the complete street, I just did the snow and
You did
ice.
the snow and ice one?
And Monday I'll be going to a calibration class,
Oh, good.
which I'm already working on lining up to have them come out to teach our guys and get all our stuff on the right track and calibrated.
Great. Excellent.
great. Thank you, Bob.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks so much, Bob.
Appreciate it.
Well done. Action F, going on to payroll services.
Just for the record. Which I thought we were supposed to, but, so I apologize. Hello, Kelly.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Yes, well, good evening.
Good evening. Just
Three-
for the record,
Oh, I'm Kelly Pomprion, Town Accountant.
thank you.
What I'm here about is currently we've been using Harper's for a number of years for our payroll service. They're wonderful, but part of the problem is they're the cheapest and you get what you pay for. There's a lot of services that are out there that we really could utilize in our town. And Nicole and I have spent some time, we've met with 3 companies, we've watched their demos of, what they can offer to us. And we feel that it would be very appropriate if we could change payroll companies January 1. That would give us the opportunity to have a clean break with Harper's. They would finish out the W-2s, everything would be completed, and then we would start with the new company. One of the things that Paychecks would be the company that they offer that we would definitely take advantage of is we would be able to eliminate the timesheets. We will have a tablet that will be at each building where people will put in their code and it clocks them in, put in their code, it clocks them out. They will also go to that tablet to request their time off. Then at the end of the week, all of that data is emailed to the supervisor. The supervisor has the opportunity to make any changes, approve their time off requests. So then, because part of the problem is with the tracking on paper, they're not getting coded properly. We've got, one department that's still using the old time clock, punch in, punch out. And it's just not functioning appropriately. And we feel that this would be a great asset to the town. One of the things that, is a great help, that would be an additional service, but one of the things that Harper's also provides is an HR service.
Harper's or Paychecks?
Oh, I'm sorry, Paychecks. They offer an HR service. So if we were to decide that that's something we would want to, take on with them, is they assign a physical person to us. They can come out, they can work with us on policy, they can help us get things in line, and that's part of their service. So to me, the advantage of being with Paychecks is we also will have that opportunity. Because I know that the HR has been something that, we focused on that we would like to have. However, we can't get anyone for that wage that we can pay. So that would be an alternative. We haven't met with the HR team yet to discuss that and discuss price. But they've assured me that the price would be definitely lower than what we would be paying a person, even at the 19 and a half hours. So that's kind of the plan of what we would like to do, but we would like to seek your approval to go forward with that and be able to get that implementation in the process for the month of December so that we'd be up and running January 1.
Okay.
Your memorandum was well-written too and well thought out and easy to read, for me at least, to be able to make a decision I know that we've been having a hard time having vacation time, sick time, any kind of paid time off being put on paychecks, having that all manually done has just been, so how long does it take Nicole right now to put together a payroll?
It depends. We have a department that's difficult. Last week, it took her about a day and a half. It should be taking her a half a day. But when we have, problems with, a whole department, it takes a while to get everything figured out. And that's really eating a lot of her time. So with having it electronically sent to her, because once the supervisor approves it, it automatically will go to her and import into the database. So all of that would be there populated so that there wouldn't be, the questions of, well, okay, what does this say? Was this really what this person worked? Did they not work that? It will calculate all of that for us.
And how would you implement the tablets? Would you bring them all online at one time, or would you,
No,
how would you implement
the
that?
discussion would be that we would do one building at a time. So we would implement one department, one building, get them up and running, everyone familiar with that, and then we would move to the next department. The reason we're not really trying to do it all at once with the tablet login is because there's only Nicole and I. Nicole's only part-time, and we need to be able to focus our time with a smaller group of people to be able to make sure they're on board and everything, that they understand that.
And why are you accepting police and fire?
Police and fire, police currently has their own payroll system. They've had that for a number of years. And with the rates that the police officers make, it's not like, okay, you get $20 for this, and if you work overtime, you get, your time and a half. It may not be exactly time and a half, and then they have shift differentials and all of these different aspects that, on the details. So, eventually, maybe down the line, that might be something, but for right now, it's not something we would really want to entertain. However, Paychex is willing to work with the payroll company they're using to do an import data file so that we would not have to take their printed sheets again and be inputting and figuring out all of this data. So it could be imported directly from theirs into the payroll
And
company.
does that the same for fire as well? Is that why you're not doing fire?
Fire is very different at this point now that we have the ALS service. They're paid on a week of 2 12-hour days. However, because they're really on a 2-week schedule and our payroll is every week, there might be a week where they work 3 days and 1 week they only work 1. So it's to level that out. But they, again, we will pay them their time, but they will still need to have a tablet at some point for time off. The time off is really a big focus because with all of the union contracts we have, it's different for this building, it's different, at the sewer department. That has made it extremely challenging to get everyone where they need to be, what they're using.
Yeah.
So that will definitely help this process.
Those were my questions.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a couple.
Okay?
So if you roll out the tablets, a building at a time, so when you're doing, building A, what does building B, C, and D do?
They'll
And they
s-
don't have a tablet,
They'll still do the manual timesheets
like they do today.
like they do today.
Okay.
Yes.
Once they have the tablets rolled out, so say you're going to a training and you're not actually coming into the office.
Okay.
You're going from, your house directly to the training. So you're not here to actually log into the tablet and say, I started work at 6 and I'm done at, 4.
Correct. So they would be able to send an email to their supervisor that says, and the supervisor should know, they're going to a class and they would be able to, when they get the data file from in their email, to know to put that punch in that said,
So the supervisor has the ability to
Yes.
edit.
And override anything that's done. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Nicole would have the administrative, deal if, okay, let's say Carter would need to approve Holly and Adam's time and Carter's gonna be out this week. It would still go to Nicole. She could print a report and leave it for Carter, but she could go ahead and do the approval and go ahead and pay them for that week. So she will have ultimate, overriding to take care of anything that would need to be done that the supervisor couldn't do.
I mean, you say supervisor, are we talking the
Department
directorates?
head.
The directorates?
Yeah,
Department heads.
department
Okay.
heads, yes.
Okay, so anybody that's under, say, the Director of Public Works is all gonna go to Bob?
Right,
And then Bob has to go through and approve all that?
yes,
Okay,
which he currently does on the timesheets. It's just gonna be looking at it on a screen instead of looking on it on paper.
okay.
Because currently now, and I can, is it all right if I use yours as an example? So right now, to look at that, you've got to have a timesheet and you've got to have their punch card. And you've got to make sure that what's on their punch card is what's on their sheet, and that doesn't always happen. So that's one of the issues where, yeah, you have the sheet, but what does their punch card say? And so that's been a challenge of, working through that, which a lot of this has come to light now that we get their punch cards. We've never gotten that before. So, that has been a big learning curve to make sure that we're, documenting exactly what time they really did work.
Okay,
If I can, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
It, on the highway department, it is very confusing, because especially at this time of the year, you'll get one of the employees punching in 2 or 3 times, punching in and out, and it comes to a certain time bracket, it's double time, time and a half, this is a holiday, and there's so much on these cards, and between the secretary and myself and Nicole and Kelly going through them, it does get confusing. And this system she's talking about, this sounds so simple, and plus, not only that, for auditing purposes, I think it'll be a great asset to you too.
I just wanna make sure that the directorates will be in charge of, their said people. So like the Director of Community Services, for example, who has multiple departments underneath her, all their people underneath will funnel to her, and she will be the approving authority, is that correct?
Yes.
With the exception, yes, basically, yes.
Yes.
This is gonna have to be rolled out over time. I do have some concerns about it. Kelly and I have a small bet on how well this is gonna roll out.
Oh, jeez.
Nice. Well, I don't like,
But they have great faith in it, and I'd like to support them on this. One department, some changes, the hourly rates, and every week we have to go back in and kind of change it. This will come pre-populated. So I think this is, has some potential.
okay.
So a couple more questions. So the system, will you feed it as a one-time setup or an annual setup, what the rules are of like their contract? So that when it gets it, it knows, oh, they clocked in, at 6 o'clock this morning, they clocked out at 4, but they came back at, 9 PM.
Right.
And that falls into this category. So it's
Yeah.
gonna do all of that
Yes, it will.
rule-based stuff automatically,
Yeah, yeah,
based on, okay?
yeah.
The other great thing is, from what I heard, if we do get like subcontractors in the winter, they can be set up, because they're gonna come in and sign in and out anyway, so they can actually punch in and out, so everything's gonna match.
So they'll get like a
Yeah.
W-9 and they'll, just like an
W-2,
employee, like a
yeah,
W-2,
yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, and, and one of the other things that is gonna be, which I think is gonna be a benefit, is your salaried employees. We all put on our timesheet what we're really working, but there's really no, other than going to those payrolls and pulling and looking at that, you really don't know what the salaried employees are working. And so we do have people that are working over the 40 or 38, and it will track that. I mean, they're still gonna get paid their salary, but at least we will be able to pull a report that says, myself or a salaried employee worked this many hours. And so if the board at any time, there's a question that's brought up from the community, what about this employee? we'll be able to pull those reports at at one printing. It's not going back and saying, okay, well, this person worked, 43 hours this week. This one worked, it will make things a lot simpler to have, things ready at our fingertips. That's one of the things that we don't have with Harper's. Their reporting system allows us 2 options. That's all we have. So for an example, the police department needs a report on a weekly basis. We're for 5 officers. We can't print that report. We have to go in and print one report with 2 people, another report with the other 2, and another report with just the 1, because it only gives us 2 options. So with this system, we can there's any number of options that we can put in, and it will get us the opportunity to make a report that looks what we want. Harper's has certain fields. So if we want to report on all of our employees that are active and we just need a list and what department, we can't get that. Because they have their formulated reports that are going to give you their address. They're going to give you what the taxes are. They give you all this extra stuff that we really don't need, because they're manual, they're their reports.
Right.
And to get one set up, we have to call them, tell them specifically what we want. We can't get it right then. They will set it up and let us know, and that usually sometimes takes 2 days. So if you've got a person that comes in and needs this report, they have to wait. We can't get that for them right away. With Paychecks, we'll be able to do that. We can do our own reports.
And with these reports, they can print on paper or can be exported to Excel so that you
Correct.
could do additional calculations or whatever.
Or whatever we would need, yes.
And I'm assuming that it then has a general ledger feed out of that system that will go into.
Yes.
I don't remember the name of our.
Vadar,
Vadar,
yes.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it will have an automatic
Automatic
feed into
feed.
Vadar to update your general ledger and.
Correct,
Yep.
correct. Yeah. I mean, I think it's gonna be a great benefit for the town. I know Carter's concern is the electronic portion of it, and the ability of the employees, with the clocking in and clocking out on the tablet. But I think people will get used to that, Everybody.
Change is hard.
Everybody has phones now and does that. I mean, that's one of the things that Paychecks offers.
Only Carter doesn't.
Only Carter
That's why
doesn't.
Carter's having a hard time with this.
Yes, yes.
Still has an archaic flip phone.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the things that they do offer, but it's more of a cost, is instead of having a tablet, you can do it on your phone. You can go in and clock in on your phone, you can clock out on your phone, it's an app. You can also request your time. Everything you can do on that tablet, you can do on your phone, but we have to pay per person per month to have that feature. So that's not something that we can really afford. Yeah, so.
You go ahead.
No, John, please.
Well, do you have, with the tablet capabilities, they have CAT card capabilities? Do
Pardon?
they have CAT card capabilities? So it's a card that they use versus typing their numbers in, so it's almost like an ID with the employee's name on it, and they can swipe
We
it?
could do that, but we would have to pay for their equipment for that. By doing it this way with the codes, we're able to purchase the tablets at a reduced rate and be able to get them and set them up ourselves.
Okay, and is there some type of agreement with them that if it gets damaged in any way, do we get a replacement? Or do we,
No, because the tablets we would own ourselves.
They're our property.
Yeah, it's our property, it's not
We have
theirs.
to replace them.
Okay. But you know where I'm going. Okay. All right, well, thank you. I don't have any questions. Anybody else have any questions?
And where would the additional funding be coming from?
It will come out of my budget. This year, with what we've budgeted for Harper's and what costs we've been using, I will be able to make that work in my budget. And going forward, it will cost around $2,000 to $3,000 more a year for that service.
But if we are able to move our units to bi-weekly, then that savings will overwrite these.
That would be huge.
and
That would be
give
That
huge.
would be huge, and we should be
and
moving
give
toward
us
that.
the potential to replace the laptops if we need to.
And we are moving towards that, correct?
We're working with our units to try to negotiate that move, yes.
Well, with the,
Thank you.
with the unions,
Yes.
okay.
Well, that's, everything hinges on that.
Well, yeah. Holly, you had something, Holly?
Yeah, on the tablet, is there any way, is it a program that we could also put on our computers?
You have to pay per computer,
We can't afford that.
yeah.
Could we do it on a stand, I'm just trying to picture where a tablet would be.
We'll have to figure that out for this building, but that's one of the things challenges that I'm working on, trying to figure out now. So what I'm thinking is a secured box that we would have at the back and we would all have keys to. I mean, in the morning, we're all gonna be coming in, we'd be clocking in, and then, we would put that away and secure for, the rest of the day, and then, we would clock out at night. But that's one of the problems, is the cost is per computer. So if we had it on each department, we would have to pay per department. So for every login place, there's a fee per month. So
It's too much.
that's why it's, the tablet is the more economical way for us financially at this point.
I mean, it's almost like a kiosk machine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they make, it almost looks like, a hand almost, and the
Yeah.
tablet just fits in there, and then there's a lock so that you can't,
Okay.
slide the thing in or out, because it has, grips on the top and both sides, and then it's wall mountable.
Okay,
So you don't have to have something that you have to unlock and put in. Somebody can't, easily take it off of the wall or get
Right.
it out of the holder.
that was one of my questions for you once it was approved.
Oh.
Is there an option
More
for
like an
that?
electronic time clock? like
Yes.
instead of-
Exactly.
Exactly, yeah, so,
My other question was on the, like, we take sick time and personal time, how do we do that?
that would be when you go onto the screen, there will be a place, once you put your code in, it will ask you what you're doing. Are you requesting time off? Are you clocking in? It's like a button, and you would just hit the button. And when it asks for time off, you'll put in the date that you want off and hit enter, and it would go to Carter's email. And Carter would then say, yes, I approve that. So that electronically on that date will populate into, for the payroll for that week, it will say, Holly was on vacation this day, because it's already in the system and it's noted.
And you do that ahead of time, or?
Yeah.
And then like if you're sick, the
Right,
next day
and
you
if
put,
you're,
I was
if you're
sick.
sick, that's when Carter could go in that day and say, oh, Holly was sick this day. So,
Kelly, is that for each department or
Yes.
everything going to Carter?
no, it's each department, because you would be in charge of your department and employees. Yeah,
That's how it's supposed to work.
Exactly.
yeah.
And you report to him. See how that works? Okay.
I make a motion to approve the change from Harper's Payroll to Paychecks effective January 1st, 2019 for a 3-year contract in the total amount of $42,500.
And I'll second that.
A motion is second. Any other discussion concerning the change? I see none.
Mr. Chairman, would Ms. Brooks
Did I do something
consider, no, it's the math that's in the motion. Consider amending her motion to be $43,500.
Sorry, yes, I will amend my motion to be $43,500
For 3 years.
for 3
Yes.
years.
Okay.
And I'll second it again.
And I have another second by Doug. Excellent, thank you so much. Any other discussion from the crowd?
Right.
I see none. Doug?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. And I hope this works
Yeah,
as
thank you.
as good as it's gonna.
Yeah, thank you.
Because it's a benefit to all the employees.
Do we need an executive
Okay.
session?
I do not, but I do have a couple
Thank you.
comments under board and staff member when we get there.
Any old business at this time?
I do have a board.
Old business? No old business? Board and staff member comments and reports?
I would like to know
Yes,
where
Diane.
we stand with our audits and how that affects our bond rating.
Okay.
and timeline.
Yeah, Bob and I met with Mr. Driscoll, I think about a week ago, on some different matters, and I did bring up their audit. They were expecting their draft within, I think he said, a week or two. So that would mean this week or next week. I did explain to him that we would appreciate anything he could do to help move that along, as we need the final audits to get to our auditor, which we hope to get done within this next week, so that Tony can finalize our audit by January 1, which would allow us to have a bond rating by roughly February 1, which would allow us to go to permanent financing in February on a portion of our outstanding bond anticipation notes. I will follow up with John tomorrow morning on that.
Thank you.
So so what you're telling me right now is always is depending on the Light and Waters audit. That's, everything's,
It is essentially, yes.
okay.
And we did take those bond anticipation notes only until February, so that we could try to move to permanent before we get we're gonna have an interest rate hike this month, most
Right.
likely. And we're trying to beat the next one. So I'll speak to John tomorrow and convey the board's
Is there a reason why
concerns.
they start their audits later than? Is there a specific reason, like they have to wait for a certain date? Or I don't understand how come this is like this, I know last year they had a company, then they went to a new company this year. I mean, is there a specific reason why they're?
I honestly don't know. I mean.
Last year was because of the Worcester County Retirement Association.
And Light and
not-
Water too.
Last year, they had some real problems with their audit firm,
They did,
Oh,
and which is why they have a new firm.
right.
Unfortunately, we use different firms, so that doesn't help us any.
Understood.
But I'll reach out to them and keep you all advised.
Great.
thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. Looking forward to February.
Otherwise, we'll have to do another round of bond anticipation notes that I'm frankly not looking forward to.
That was my next
I mean, we are
concern.
gonna have some bond anticipation notes, but I don't wanna have to take the full 25 million back out.
Right, right. That would be, okay. Anybody else have any board of staff comments? Yes, Mr. Tenzini.
If I might, Mr. Chairman, with your indulgence, I just want to let you and the community know that we did get our tax rate finally set yesterday morning, I believe. $17.24, up 52 cents. Not as much as we'd anticipated. Part of that is because we'd had quite a substantial increase in property values.
Yes, you did.
So some folks will see their total tax bill, even with the rate up, be flat or go down. Others will see it go up. Basically depends upon what happened to your property value. Next year, we'll try to bring a little more on and smooth that in if we can. Next, you will have in your emails, and I just wanted to remind you that the budget process has kicked off today. Adam got everything out in the email. Everything's due back January 2nd, and then we'll follow the schedule from there. We do have in this room on January 15th, Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. We'll have town council, town clerk, myself, on a public meeting on the codification of the bylaws. Those are ready to go to the annual town meeting. We will have all of those up on the web by, I think it's December 22, December 20, but certainly before Christmas, so people can start to look through that several hundred pages. Based upon comments we receive in January, we'll make any revisions that are appropriate and have a second meeting sometime in February or in March.
What was that date?
January 15th.
January 15th, Tuesday, 6:30 PM here. We'll get it onto the important dates in the weekly, get it up on the web, do some things like that. I did meet, following up on the all boards meeting the other night. Carol Harris, the town clerk, and Derek Hall, your town moderator, and I met today to talk about some ideas of how we can try to get more folks to come to the meetings, while, and moving the meeting along while respecting people's right to speak. And so what we thought, and we don't have the date for it yet, but next week, the moderator, town clerk, and I will tape the Talk of the Town for December to talk about some of those ideas. And we're going to have a public meeting at some time in January. We'll make that part of the meeting. And then those ideas that come out of that, we do hope folks would consider attending or sending us emails. We'll try to do, a Survey Monkey or something to get the community at large a little bit more involved. Again, we're looking for ways that we can move the meeting along while respecting people's right to have their say in these articles, but hopefully, increase attendance at the same time. It's kind of it's gonna be a little interesting
Delicate
fit,
balance.
but we thought the best thing was to reach out to the community, see what the folks have to say.
Well, I definitely gonna have a concern with that, the codification being a couple hundred pages, because I don't wanna read that at town meeting, because that's a lot to read.
It,
It will be one of the issues.
It's substantial, and that's one of the reasons we're gonna have at least 2 public meetings with that material being on the web, at least 3 weeks prior to any public meeting.
Okay.
So folks can look at that. Finally, I just wanted to remind the board, we did get in the bond, the Economic Development Bond Bill, Senator Goby was successful in getting an earmark in for us for $250,000 towards the police station.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of major change orders, so we are in need of trying to
It
move
did work.
this. And she's asked for a status update and also a letter of support from the board. So if it's agreeable, I would draft that status report, draft a letter, and because we're in the season and we've got some folks who Doug travels for work and such, I'd like to be able to have the letter signed by the chairman on behalf of a unanimous board. We'll, of course, provide you copies with
Yes.
what that letter is, but that'll save me some time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, Doug?
Yep.
Yes.
And we did secure the
Please.
250.
It's in there, we just gotta get it into the next issued bond
offering.
Okay.
bill. And I know that you've spoken with the governor personally on that. But we are getting very close.
It all works, top
There.
to bottom, bottom to top.
One change order alone was the sewer line wasn't where we'd been told. So that was a
I
$47,000 change order, because we had to go to ejector pumps.
heard that.
So we've got some other things that we're dealing with as well.
But I'm concerned about the Portico too.
That's a $70,000 item
Understood.
that has to wait till
I know, I understand.
the end.
Yep.
And the price will go up because we haven't been able to incorporate it as the work's going along. But
Right.
we did have a project meeting this morning, and we're close, but we're okay still so far.
And they're still on target as far as time.
Completion time, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. The school looks great. Any word on the school at all?
They're on budget, on time.
Under budget.
Under
time.
budget, yes.
Under
about-
budget.
About 3 million, as was mentioned the other
Yes.
night.
Yes.
Um,
So they get 3 million under budget, right? Is that nice?
That's potentially the end
Potential.
result.
That, yeah, good.
Potential, keyword, potential.
Yep, I know the fire department went in there last night, did a walkthrough with the contractor, just to see what it looks like inside with the, with no walls, just to see where the water systems are, the, sprinkler systems and all that stuff, which I thought was great. I did see a lot of the a good amount of the fire guys going
And
in,
as
which is great.
the superintendent mentioned the other night, the places where you often run into, can take some big hits, environmental,
Right,
soils,
Beyond that.
ledge,
right.
when the steel goes up, if there's misalignment. A lot of the things where you really can take some big hits,
We're past that phase.
got past that.
Yeah, no, I mean,
We're in the
we're,
home stretch.
we're windows and doors at this point.
You're weather tight, I believe, at this point.
Yeah. Great,
There's one window that's not in. Is it
Essentially
the
weather
window?
tight.
essentially.
Essentially.
There's plastic on it right now.
I drive by there every day.
Excellent.
It's
And,
a big yeehaw.
status on the senior center?
I
Oh,
forget
that's
what
been
Mary
extended.
said this morning, did she get the signed contract back? No. Okay.
We got it in the office.
We got it, yeah, so we have the signed contract back from the contractors.
Okay,
And weather permitting, they want to be able to come up and, not have to work for one day and then be gone for two. So
mhm.
both of those projects are moving forward with Mary's assistance.
Great. Any other comments from the board or staff?
No.
No? Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Good Turkey Day. Yep, Gansett won.
Oh, the
Gansett
Jack
won.
Frost Festival?
Oh, yes, the Jack Frost Festival, Sunday, December 2nd, 4 o'clock parade starts, and 4:30 on the dot, the tree lighting will commence. It should be a good time. I know the
Location for that, Mr. Chairman?
location is, starts at Otter River Road, and it goes down to the center of town, Templeton Actual, right by the Historical Society. Big tree out front. It's gonna be lit up, and it's gonna be very beautiful, and start the Christmas cheer. There might be some, I think the Historical Society is gonna probably do something, I don't know if it's doing hot cocoa or cider or something, I'm sure somebody does something, so Santa Claus definitely will be there. I don't know him that personally, but I know he's gonna be there.
So will Jack Frost?
Jack Frost will definitely be there too, and hopefully us will be all there to celebrate the community and, start bringing this community together and have some Christmas cheer and some eggnog with some special stuff in it. We can do some great stuff.
There will not be any special
There won't be any
stuff.
special stuff, I'm only teasing. But again, I hope
Powdered
it,
sugar on the top.
that's right.
Okay, sugar. Okay,
Sugar.
good.
But,
Yeah.
but again, I do have to give a plug to, the Gansett team did, the high school team did win on the third, Turkey Day. They beat, Winchendon. Close game, by 1 point, but they still won. A victory's a victory. A W by Bill Belichick is a W. So, yeah, unless everybody else has anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So there is the
Oh.
Christmas fair at the senior center on Saturday.
Oh, I missed something.
Yep, so they do have basket raffles,
Is it this Saturday?
baked goods, yep,
This
this Saturday.
Oh, this Saturday's gonna be busy then.
Yeah.
Because not only does the senior center, which I totally forgot, the St. Martin's Church
Yeah.
also does theirs at the American Legion Hall. They have it for the 2 days, so that's coming up this weekend as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of good festivity stuff going on this weekend, so please get out there and enjoy. Anything, did I miss anything else, Doug?
Not that I know of.
I'm trying to go off the top of my head, it's so difficult, there's
Yeah.
so many fun stuff going on here in Templeton, I'm telling you. Yes,
You can just mention, like, for all these activities, if people would email them in, we can get them on the website.
oh, that's true, yeah, I mean, if you have nonprofit groups, if you're nonprofit, you have activities, we'll definitely put it on our website, and also TCTV would be more than happy to post some things for you, as long as you're a nonprofit, or if you're a government, they will definitely put that stuff out there for you.
Right.
Thank you, so, I mean, did I miss anything else?
So
Oh,
I
also,
will make a motion to adjourn.
okay, I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second?
I have a motion, and a second, any other discussion? I see none, Doug,
Yes?
Diane,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well, thank you all for joining us.